Title: Betrayal and Revenge, a Strategist's Plan. Nathaniel awoke to a searing, blinding headache. Pain radiated through his skull, and his limbs felt as though they were weighed down by lead. The dim bedside lamp cast eerie shadows on the walls, and his mouth tasted of copper and stale alcohol. Yet he couldn't recall drinking. Fragments of memory floated to the surface. A tense dinner with his wife, Elise, her enigmatic smile, and the glass of wine she had poured with unusual zeal. He tried to sit up, but his body rebelled. Then he heard it, the faint murmur of voices and the rustle of sheets from the adjacent room. His heart raced as he swung his legs off the bed, the cold hardwood floor grounding him in the surreal reality. Quietly, he moved toward the sound, each step making the voices clearer. Pushing the door open, he froze. There, tangled in a tableau of betrayal, was Elise, sleeping peacefully in the arms of two men. His vision blurred, his breath caught in his throat. The realization hit him like a freight train. He had been drugged, incapacitated while his wife indulged in her deceit. For a fleeting moment, rage consumed him. Every fiber of his being screamed for retribution, to end it all right there. But Nathaniel was no impulsive man. Years in the military as a strategist had taught him the value of patience and precision. Instead of confronting Elise, he turned and walked away, his mind already racing with plans. Sitting on the edge of his bed, Nathaniel stared at his phone. There was one person he could trust, Eric Olson, his former combat buddy. Years ago, Nathaniel had saved Eric's life in the heat of battle, and Eric had sworn a life debt in return. Now a private investigator, Eric was the man Nathaniel needed. He dialed the number. "Eric," came the familiar, gruff voice. "Been a while. What's going on?" "I need your help," Nathaniel said, his tone calm despite the storm within. "It's about Elise." A heavy silence followed. Eric had met Elise once and had never liked her. "What did she do?" Nathaniel explained everything, sparing no detail. By the end, Eric's voice was grim. "I'm in. What's the plan?" "First, I need to know everything about these men, who they are, their weaknesses. Then, we'll make Elise understand what betrayal feels like." "Consider it done," Eric replied. "But Nathaniel, this is going to get messy. Be ready for that." "I'm ready," Nathaniel said, his resolve hardening. Eric worked swiftly. Within days, he unearthed everything about Elise's lovers. The first, Richard Vaughn, was a slick corporate lawyer with a penchant for shady deals and gambling. The second, Daniel Kessler, was a fitness influencer whose glamorous social media persona masked a mountain of debt and failed relationships. "They're both vulnerable," Eric said during a late-night call. "Vaughn's firm is under investigation for fraud, and Kessler's about to lose his sponsorships due to some skeletons in his closet." Nathaniel's lips curled into a grim smile. "Perfect. Let's dismantle their lives piece by piece. And Elise, she'll watch it all unfold." As the days passed, Nathaniel's plan took shape, each move calculated and precise. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about teaching Elise and her accomplices the true cost of betrayal. And Nathaniel, the strategist, was ready to see it through to the bitter end. A single nudge and he'd crumble. Kessler's reputation was his lifeline. Expose the cracks, and everything would fall apart. Nathaniel listened intently, his mind racing with possibilities. "And Elise?" he asked. "I've found some interesting things," Eric replied. "Hidden bank accounts, questionable purchases, and a prenup she conveniently forgot to mention." Nathaniel's lips curled into a grim smile. "Good. Let's start with Vaughn." Richard Vaughn prided himself on being untouchable. With a Rolodex of powerful contacts and a knack for manipulating legal loopholes, he believed himself immune to scrutiny. But that illusion shattered with a single anonymous tip to the authorities. Eric's fabricated evidence, paired with Vaughn's existing indiscretions, triggered a full-scale investigation. Nathaniel watched from the sidelines as Vaughn's empire crumbled. His assets were frozen, his reputation destroyed, and his once loyal clients turned their backs on him. Within weeks, Vaughn went from a high-powered attorney to a pariah. Nathaniel ensured Vaughn's personal life didn't escape unscathed. Using Eric's intel, he anonymously supplied Vaughn's wife with evidence of his numerous infidelities. The resulting divorce was swift and brutal, leaving Vaughn isolated and financially ruined. Daniel Kessler's downfall was even more public. Posing as an anonymous whistleblower, Nathaniel fed the press stories of Kessler's fake endorsements and unpaid debts. Eric hacked into Kessler's social media accounts, leaking private messages that revealed his manipulative and shallow nature. Kessler's followers abandoned him in droves, and sponsors severed ties immediately. Nathaniel escalated further, arranging for Kessler to be publicly confronted by former collaborators he had wronged. The confrontation was recorded and widely shared online, demolishing Kessler's carefully crafted image. By the end, Kessler had no career, no reputation, and no way to rebuild. As Vaughn and Kessler fell, Elise began to sense something was wrong. Her lovers grew distant, consumed by their own crises. Nathaniel remained cold but civil, giving no hint of his involvement. When Elise confided in her friends, they dismissed her concerns as paranoia. Then came the final blow. Nathaniel confronted Elise with the evidence Eric had gathered: hidden accounts, fraudulent transactions, and the concealed prenup. Her shock turned to desperation. "Nathaniel, please," she begged. "We can fix this." He stared at her, his expression unreadable. "Fix this," he echoed. "You drugged me, humiliated me, betrayed me. There's nothing left to fix." The next day, Nathaniel filed for divorce, invoking the infidelity clause in their prenup. Elise left the marriage with nothing but debts. News of her affair spread quickly, thanks to Eric's planted stories. Friends and colleagues distanced themselves, and invitations to the exclusive circles she once reveled in dried up. In the aftermath, Nathaniel took a sabbatical, focusing on his recovery. He reconnected with old friends, took up woodworking, and began mentoring veterans transitioning to civilian life. Eric remained a steadfast presence, reminding Nathaniel that rebuilding was its own form of revenge. Nathaniel's personal growth became evident as he found joy in simple pleasures: walks in the countryside, laughter with friends, and the satisfaction of creating something with his hands. The bitterness that had consumed him began to fade. Months later, Nathaniel stood on the deck of his countryside home, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The pain of betrayal had dulled, replaced by a quiet sense of closure. Eric's words echoed in his mind: "Messy, but worth it." He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past lift. Betrayal had broken him, but it had also rebuilt him, stronger, wiser, free. Betrayal is a wound, but revenge is the salve. And sometimes the greatest revenge is reclaiming your life.